Hey, you! You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed because you're an untouchable success. To support us and gain access to great exclusive shows like our brand new Supernatural watch-along Himboos, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You'll also get your lucky little mitts on hundreds of episodes of our other exclusive shows like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, and the complete series of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We do movie nights, game streaming, regular mini-series and surprise shows, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want, within reason. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by heading to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed. Probably don't need help with that word.
Boba Fett, no!
Man.
Yeah, bad guy,
Cliff
Boba
Curtis,
Fett.
no.
Cliff Curtis, you son of a bitch.
Man, there's a lot of sons of bitches in this film, Dave.
I know. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Once Were Warriors Boba Fett.
1,000 years ago, the Maoris discovered New Zealand.
Our people once were warriors. They were people with pride, people with spirit.
Today, they are strangers in that land.
You too.
Woo! Real Barton Fink energy.
Yes. Oh, my God. Big thank you to Burrito, our
Thank
Patreon
you.
producer.
Thank you.
Thank you for...
Genuinely.
I didn't know this film existed. You did, Tom.
I did. This was one that had been on my list for a very long time because because of Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Because of Jango Fett. Because that movie came out. He was the only thing I liked about it. And so I remember looking up the actor and seeing everything he had been in and seeing that this movie was kind of what is his breakout movie. This is what everybody knew him from.
Yeah.
But at the time, this is 2002, it was like impossible to see this movie in America because this is a New Zealand film.
He was also in Barbed Wire.
He was in he had been in some other things. He was in Dust Till Dawn 2, The Hangman's Daughter, I think.
Yeah.
But this was the movie that I had read about it and read that he plays like this really awful, there's like a Stella moment at the end. He's a very like Stanley Kowalski, Danny Glover in The Color Purple type character, an abusive monster. But I had read that it was like this raw, intense, emotional performance and movie, and I really wanted to see it. And I just sort of forgot about it after a few years. Like I could have seen this movie easily now in the streaming era. I just sort of forgot about it.
Though. It's a hard one to pick up. It's labeled on Amazon as heavy and gritty, and I was like,
It is both of those things.
Yeah, it's so funny to me though.
It's
the
not
game
kids,
we play,
though.
It's not kids, but the game we play where this guy he gives this amazing performance as a terrifying abusive father and husband, and he's got such rage in him. And then George Lucas presumably saw that and was like, "You get Jango Fett."
Well, what is
Jango? He's like, all right, you want me to be like scary in this? And they're like, no, just say the lines flatly like everybody else. Because I just love that. Like,
I get
he's
it.
so scary in this. So I'm like, what? I want some of this with the Fett.
Yeah, he should have put more of that into the Fett. He has him scale it way back, but it's a lot of it in his posture. Like in his introductory scene in Attack of the Clones, when Ewan McGregor comes to talk to him in his apartment, he's doing that same posture that he's doing in this movie, and there's like this very quiet menace, even if it's not there so much in the dialogue. But like if you think about it, what's Jango Fett? Jango Fett's an evil dad, right?
Yeah, it works.
So like I could, and you think about this guy's like, man, that guy was really intense. I want that dude to be the Fett man.
I just love how
it is weird to be like out of this movie, out of all the performances in this movie, to be like, that's the guy that I want for Star Wars.
And he later is Boba Fett as well.
Yes, yeah.
And like that's like the Mickey Mouse of Star Wars. It's just so funny how like I always think about the movie Downfall. That's about Hitler in the bunker.
Yeah.
And then I always imagine that director getting a gifts basket that's like, congratulations, you have been allowed to make in a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like that we like
Ooh,
these
thank
people
you.
will make these amazing films, and then
Yeah.
they're like, you want to go be Boba Fett? And it's like, yeah, I mean, yes.
kind of. I think they filmed it.
Aquaman's dad. You want to be Aquaman's
He sure
dad?
as fuck is Aquaman's dad. Both of those, I definitely know Aquaman was filmed in like Australia, New Zealand, because that's where James Wan is from, and a lot of his productions are there.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Attack of the Clones must have been too, because a lot of the performers in that movie are Kiwi in Australia, like Rose Byrne's in it.
Yeah, you're right.
Joel Edgerton. There's a lot of Kiwi
And I'm
and
not-
Aussie actors in it.
And I'm not even saying that as like dismissive. It does seem fun to be an actor to do this really intense role, and then
Yeah,
they're
are
like,
you
"Great,
kidding me?"
now go be Boba Fett.
Right, like,
just
who
wear this
wouldn't?
armor, run around, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck yeah."
Yeah, if you got the call, like if your manager was like, no matter how like serious, after doing like this brooding, intense movie, you're like, yeah, I'm off to good stuff, and you do a barbed wire.
Yeah.
But like anyway, but you do like intense like drama like this, and your manager's like, George Lucas wants you to play Boba Fett.
Absolutely.
You're like, yes, absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
I want to be a spaceman.
Likewise, this director went on to make Die Another Day and Next with Nicolas Cage, the magician movie. Along came a
Really?
spider. The Edge. This is the director of The Edge.
Wow.
I know.
The Edge is
So
all
for
right.
people- Yeah. I love The Edge.
Love The Edge.
For people who haven't seen this movie, we mentioned kids. If you can stomach it, go watch it. It's I don't know your opinion, Tom, but I think it's a very well made, very good movie.
I thought this movie was excellent. Yeah. This
I have a
is
lot of
very,
questions
very good.
for it. Yeah. But it's essentially about a Maori family in New Zealand who is falling apart. Boba Fett is the father, and he is a drunk and abusive, and like you get this.
Man, it's a real training day the way it unfolds too.
Yes. And you just watch as he kind of just makes this family.
He destroys
implode.
it. Yeah, he just destroys it.
It does. Spoilers have as happy of an ending as it can have.
as it can. Yeah. But boy,
this is a weird thing to say. In terms of vibe and tone, I really like this style of movie from the 90s.
Oh, yeah, me
which
too.
There's something very real about it.
Mm-hmm. Like as soon
I
as the
think all the-
titles came on screen, I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Yeah, all the music is, I think, diegetic, but I'm not certain about that. It's very It's like not grimy, but it's gritty, and it feels like real life.
Yeah.
like everything looks like real
There was
life.
that like that sort of. It was early '90s. It was kind of like the Cinema Veritas sort of like vibe of something like Rocky, but it had that like,
Has that 70s vibe.
but
like,
it had that early '90s kind of like glow to it. And I mean a literal glow. Like there's like the warm light, and kind of that was
Yeah.
like very popular in independent filmmaking at this time. I don't know if it was just a result of like the film quality or the lights that most of these productions used. But anyway, there's a certain look that it has.
yeah.
But yeah, like as soon as the titles, like the style of the opening title slapped on screen, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" It's like an Offspring video.
Right,
They're like
it's like-
linoleum stencils. I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like this tone that it's like I want to live in this space. It warms me, and unfortunately, it's usually in movies that are really fucking depressing.
Really tough. Yeah. But this movie does such a good. It's told so well. I mentioned Training Day because it starts by showing us a really good day
Yeah.
that they have as a family.
Well, one of the key things they do in this movie, I'm not an expert on. I'm gonna say I'm not an expert on two things: Maori culture and the history of it in New Zealand.
Oh, I'm going
which
to be. We
I'm
can't
going to be very ignorant about.
comment on that at all. We don't know anything about it.
We
We barely learn about class culture and struggles in America in school, so we don't.
Yeah.
This is something I am completely ignorant of. But the family dynamics and like this family, I'm very familiar with.
Okay, I'm not familiar with like abusive relationships as much. I'm familiar with shitty guys who are their own worst enemy. I've met many of those.
And I've met this family, the family that sort of invites all of this into the house, and just the family that never grew out of their hard drinking 20s, even though they have 3 or 4 kids in their teens. That are all teenagers. Like I've met this family. I've been in this friend like this. I knew all of these people, even though I don't know the culture and all the cultural baggage that this movie is also about. I don't know any of that, but I still recognized all of these people.
Yes, I've definitely met, like I had friends who when I went to their house, they were clearly didn't want me in their house. And it was clear. I've never met something this abusive. I've also
I have.
Not, okay, yeah. I was going to say, I've been in a more positive version where it's like, I would say my parents grew out of it, but I do remember being like 5 and hearing the party in the next room. But there was never
where the kids go play in the basement,
or like like them all playing Nintendo and shit and like getting drunk. Like I've had uncles and aunts where it's like the positive version of like, they're still kind of partying.
We had that. I have like vague memories of that. Like my parents, my dad, and then my stepdad were both in the Navy. So like I have like memories of a really young kid of like getting together with like the other squadron families, like squadron party.
Right.
I have vague memories of sitting at different people's houses to watch movies and stuff. And there was a kid's room, like the kids go play in the basement while the adults are in the other room. But it was like, it wasn't like it stopped once I reached a certain age, like once my parents reached a certain age, I realized later. And so like I have like the positive version of that, like the positive memories of that. But as I got older, I encountered this version of this.
Yes, the bad version.
Yeah.
We all have memories, or we all have own videos and pictures where we're a baby being held by some guy, and we're like, who the fuck is that guy? And they're like, oh yeah, that's Jim. He's dead. Like that.
Yep.
Like, and I am now that guy in some like
I'm that guy in many pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm holding some baby. I'm like, I can't wait for this baby to grow up and be like, who
you don't
the
understand
fuck is that?
How excited some of my friends with kids were to call me to tell their children that I was Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
People get really excited about that.
This is but what I was gonna say is, so I'm no expert in like the complexities of an abusive relationship, but what this does,
I know almost
really
nothing about the history of New Zealand. Yeah,
Rena Owen is the best.
She's really
they
good.
show good days, which I think is really key, because the good days are never really, they don't, you can still feel the tension, but you see at times why these two people got together and why they loved each other.
Yeah.
Or why they thought they loved each other.
And what makes it so hard to disentangle, and what makes it a cycle, and then what
yes. Them singing together, getting drunk together, where
and
it's like you see these like high moments.
And he has these moments. He has these fleeting moments, Jake does, where you're like, oh, there's a guy, there's a father in there.
Or he's like, guy who's fun at a party.
Yeah.
Where it's like that idea, these are people, like you said, who never really
grew out of their
became
20s.
parents. They never grew out of the 20s.
They never, and this is a lot of kind of the theme, or at least of what kind of Jango Fett, Jake's arc is, Temuera Morrison, is that he never put himself aside. It's a decision you have to make when you become a parent, is when you start a family in general, like you have to put yourself aside and put the family ahead of your needs. But like this is very much a family, and this is the case in I would assume any abusive relationship, where like everything is in service to his needs. Like it's he's at the very top. Nothing is ahead of him. It's all whatever his whim is. The family defers to him on absolutely everything. If he's not, they bail on a trip to go visit their son in juvenile detention.
He lays them in the car to go drinking. Yeah, his arc is almost that he has no arc. Like the ending when he tries to cut down the tree is perfect, because it's like you can tell there's anger in him. I guess he finally figures out who to direct the anger at.
It's the one.
End.
It's the. I was literally saying it to my TV. I was like, "Come on, Jake! For one moment in your life, use all of that. Use all of that entitled rage and cruelty for one moment, directed at something that deserves it." And he does.
Yeah. It is. It's almost. You're finally like, yeah.
You're
there
finally
we
like,
go.
fucking thank God, please get him. Yeah.
But like him cutting down the tree, it's like he doesn't even know what to be angry at in that moment.
And he breaks the axe. It's impotent rage.
Yeah. So the broad strokes for what we're talking about is that, so we get the kids, and one of them is like joining a gang. And I was expecting like the tragedy to befall him.
There's a couple.
Like, that seemed like
there's
the most obvious one.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's 3 sons and 2 daughters. The eldest is a son. We see him in the beginning running with the gang, and then the second eldest is I think, what was his name? Nig was the oldest. I don't feel comfortable saying that name, unfortunately.
That is the name of the character.
That's the name of the character.
They all have. There's Toot. Cliff Curtis is named Bully.
Bully,
there's
Toot's
Boogie.
Toot's the guy that lives in the car. Boogie's the middle son.
Boogie's the middle son. I think
he's also
the main
getting
son,
into a gang.
The main son, I believe, is in The Matrix.
You might be right. The actor's name is Julian Aharanga.
Okay.
Nig Heek is the character's name, and I feel uncomfortable saying that. He played APOC in The Matrix.
Yeah. And it's funny because his arc is like, I guess joining a game really worked out for him.
Yeah, it didn't work out too badly for him. I mean, it's like, it's about
at
gender.
the end, it's just like, all right, he's cool.
Like, I get it. I'll call him APOC for the rest of it.
APOC. And then the middle child has this other arc where he gets taken away and brought to like what seems to be a boarding school
home.
of some
It's a
sort.
boys' home, yeah.
And then the instructor is a wonderful maniac who like catches him trying to, I forget, like vandalize or escape. And then they have this like warrior spear, and he like knows how to use it and freaks out on the kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa. And he's like, I'm going to teach you to be a fucking fighter.
Yeah.
Just like our ancestors.
I'm
So
gonna
he
teach you
teaches them like
hakas.
warrior stuff.
Yeah, he teaches all this like, he teaches him like, man. It's like he teaches him about like respecting his heritage, as opposed to his dad, who like, again, I'm totally ignorant of all the culture and history here, but his dad, it's a constant source of bitterness for him and pain and anger for him. So he treats it like a burden, and he's still so angry about his ancestors all being slaves, specifically to his wife's ancestors. Like,
I was gonna say, I got the impression that Beth, her ancestors weren't. This is all right. This is
and
we learned
that her parents did not approve of their marriage because of his background, because of who he is, and so he still has that chip on his shoulder. And so like Boogie, the middle son, meets this dude in the boys' home who's teaching him about how to not treat it like that.
Yes, and this is a big point of the movie where I'm going to show my ignorance because I have a lot of questions about this dynamic. Because
sorry.
Oh no, there's just this implication that it's these Maori people who have moved away from kind of their village and their roots to live in like this
city.
more in New Zealand society. And like white society almost, like, and it seems to have ruined them in a way. And they have all this pain around their roots where it's about, like you said, Jake, the dad, wants to kind of, he rejects his roots, and because there's pain there, and the idea of being like, if your roots are painful, then you don't get to celebrate your roots. You know, that seems like a thread. And it turns him, it seems like a source of him being this monster.
He's just this perpetually wounded, like, mongrel dog. Like, he is mean. And
then Beth, her whole turn is at the end. She brings them back home, and it's this idea of like, I'm going to embrace my roots, abandon Jake for the better. And then the son embraces his roots too. And even like, and so it's all to say, I was like, I'm not sure again
all
with
doing
the,
it in different ways.
Politics of the time.
Yeah.
like this feels like it's not talking about the systemic problems that created this family so much as this is like Menace to Society, where you're just seeing the result of the systemic problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it places a lot of the responsibility on like the family, where as opposed to systemic issues.
Right. It's
And it
more
also
about
seems to
generational violence and how it perpetuates itself.
Right, and it also seems to imply like Maori people, this family cannot mix with the city in New Zealand and the mainstream culture, and they have to like be more reminded. And I don't think that's necessarily what they're trying to say. This is what I mean, where I'm like, I just don't know the politics and the culture to know exactly what they're trying to say with this movie. All that context.
Here's how I read it, because ultimately we learn that the main character, Rena Owen, God goodness, I forgot what her name is in the film, but anyway,
Beth,
that's right, Beth. So Beth, like, she marries Jake against her parents' wishes and moves to the city, and they have a bunch of kids. And she's telling the story to her kids when they go on a picnic kind of partway through the movie, and this is where they're going to go see Boogie at the boys' home, but Jake makes them stop at a bar, and then he just gets hammered there instead, and they have to take a taxi home, and they never get to see Boogie. But they are having a picnic and looking at sort of the island where she grew up and like the church and like the family cemetery and stuff off in the distance. She tells them a story about how they got married and how when she left to marry Jake, her dad was like saying, "You'll be back. Like when you screw this all up, when it blows up in your face, you'll be back." And then Jake says that same thing. It's the last shot of the film when she drives off with the kids at the end from the bar, and he's having his Stella moment yelling after her. He's yelling the same thing. And we learn that when she has that last speech with Jake, she sort of says all this, she lays this out, but she stayed with him kind of the main reason for so long because she didn't want to prove her dad right. Like she didn't want to. She's like,
her dad was a bastard too.
So her dad, like the violence that was pushed on her by her dad, pushed her into this violent relationship that then inflicted violence on the children. You know, it's about that. That's how I read it.
It's about cycle of violence for sure.
Yeah, that's how I
just know that so much of it is steeped also in Maori,
completely free of context.
That I was like, because it's called Once Were Warriors. It seems like it's very and she says that we were once warriors.
Yeah.
So it's clear that is a thread throughout, and I don't know if the writer or director is Maori as well. I assume they are. I assume the people making this movie seem to be very part of that culture. So I'm just like, I know that's a factor in this movie. It can be removed from the movie, or rather there's a thread that doesn't,
I think there's things that are universally
cycle of abuse,
true
like
across
that.
cultures. Like the way I interpreted the title is sort of like when you compare Jake and the mom, but really this is we're thinking about like male role models and male strength. Like what does male strength look like? And we have Jake as an example, and then we also have that guy in the boys' home that's like, look at the fucking shit I can do with the spear. I'm gonna teach you how to do hakas and harness the power of your ancestor spirit. And he teaches them about like like respect and defense, and anyway, it's like, so it's like that's kind of like how I interpreted that. It's like, it's how Jake views his ancestry and kind of how he internalizes that and what it turns him into, like how it makes him behave versus how all the other members of his family are doing that. And like we see it most directly and loudest with like Boogie, and then also with the eldest son Apoc as he's joining. He literally gets jumped in a gang. We see him get his ass beat by the rest of the gang.
Right.
They're like,
which again ends up good for him.
It ends up good. Like, yeah. I mean, but like, it's that. Anyway, that's sort of how I interpreted it.
Yeah, it's just interesting because like I this movie didn't know at the time, but the phrase "Once Were Warriors" sounds like a school that Andrew Tate would open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We hunted the mammoth.
Yeah, it has that vibe, and again, it's
I think
all about
it's related to that idea. Like Jake is very much toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, there's clearly like a culture element to this that I'm just not going to fully understand.
Of course,
either
yeah, we just don't get
about
it.
what the history. I was interpreting as like, you know, like how it's considered that like Native Americans have a problem with alcoholism today, and like this idea of a culture kind of getting like ruined by honkies, as like a thread throughout too. Again, they're in this city, and it's like the only I think honkies we really see are the cops.
2 cops, yeah.
And they're not like, it's funny because they're treated like, oh, fuck these cops, and I'm like, oh, they're adorable compared to American cops, but whatever. Like they're quite nice.
Yeah.
That's my point.
They're borderline polite compared to the American police, but I mean, this is a movie.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I just didn't know what they wanted to say about that, or what the dynamics were.
I think it's just there, you know. They mention the fact that they live on like government. They live on government housing. They're on the dole. They mention.
Yeah.
So it's poverty. I think is because, like I said, you recognize all these people, even if the culture I don't understand. So it's like.
Yeah. So
I think just like forcing a certain population of people into poverty is going to result in a lot of alcohol abuse. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think so. It's just, again, they're not talking about like the systemic or political thing.
Right,
so
right.
I
It's just
wasn't sure what the context was.
Me either,
but
yeah.
I think the louder part is that cycle, because then so we have the 2 boys. We see one of them like doesn't technically. This is why I assumed the gang member was going to get killed or something, because I was like, he seems like the most likely cycle. You know, like of it's sort of focused on that idea of like the dad seems to have done crimes, so is the son. And then you have the son who gets out. Then you have the 2 like smaller kids who like they're Muppets. They're great.
Yeah,
they're just
ones.
happy-go-lucky kids. And then of course you have Grace. And Grace is like the dark horse of tragedy, in the sense that I wasn't thinking much about what they were going to do with her.
She's real mom. She's the one that's actually taking care of the children in the household.
And she basically just gets wrecked. Like it's just her. She's the tragedy. Cliff Curtis, who for a lot of the film I was like, he's awesome. Look at him with his dirtbag mustache and ponytail.
Dirtbag mustache. Yeah, he looks exactly like John Turturro in The Big Lebowski. For
he's like
apparently a very good reason, it turns out.
Yeah, and he doesn't have kids, and so I was thinking like, oh, dirtbag friend, like I love him. He's great.
Everybody's got
Turns
one of
out
those.
he's not so great.
Yeah. Turns out he's a rapist.
Yeah, he basically sneaks into Grace's room and in a absolutely gut-wrenching scene rapes her. It's
terrible.
not graphic. A lot of the violence in this is like as graphic as it needs to be, if that makes sense, where it's not exploitative, but it's like we're not going to shy away from it, but we're going to focus on the important things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Such as Grace's face during it, and you're like, "Fuck,
It's
this is
bad.
awful."
It's bad. And there's also the scene earlier where Jake beats the Christ out of Rena Owen, where he beats up Beth.
Yes,
that's a
again
savage
unflinching
scene.
They
It's like
cut
a- it's like
away.
a
They
Fight
give you
Club
just
beating.
enough, but it's he's like closed fists.
He's beating the
like
shit out of her.
yeah, it's brutal.
It's like it's like a karate beating. Like it's like an
Yes.
action movie beating. Like he's throwing
And
her
it's
through
Boba
glass.
Fett.
There's blood all over the wall. Yeah, it's Boba Fett. It's the Fett Man
It's a dark look at Boba Fett.
hitting his wife with prison fists.
I know, it is fucked.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like real bad.
And so like
But
these,
you're right. It cuts away like right. He throws her in the
Yeah,
bedroom, and
it-
so you're gonna learn respect. And it's like you get the picture.
yeah, exactly. Like again, it's supposed to show these upsetting things, and it wants you to be upset. But it's not like I would argue that this is of course this fine line we do, which is like, for the lack of a better comparison, I don't want to put this on him, but like Tarantino-esque, where it's like have someone say the N-word, or have like a sexual assault, or have these violence, because it is still brutal, but it's like that more stylized version, or like when it feels like a little more like, why is this necessary?
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't put that squarely on Tarantino. I just know that there's like that element of like,
Gratuitous.
yeah.
No, it
This
doesn't
didn't
feel like that.
Feel like that.
No, again, I'm going to bring up Training Day, just because, like you said about one thing that makes this movie so effective is it has the good days, and it starts with a good day. Like it starts Grace is outside reading to the little kids because she writes stories in a notebook. They're having fun.
Yeah.
Beth is walking home from the store. We're kind of getting a look at they live in extreme poverty, but we get this sense that she's
Kinda
like
nice.
Yeah, she's
The
got,
area,
like,
I mean.
there's a community. She knows everybody. You know, she seems kind of like a real tough lady. So you get like a good sense about her in that scene. Jake, you see him run afoul of this gang. You don't realize that's his eldest son at the time. But like he gives them just kind of like look, and they all run off. You're like, oh, okay, I guess you're not to mess with that guy. But then he turns back to his work in the fishing shops. You're like, oh, okay. And he comes home with this big feast. He's like, I've got a feed. Everyone gather around this feed. Like he kept calling it a feed. I loved that.
Yeah.
They kept calling a meal a feed. So yeah, he brought home all the seafood for his family, and all the kids are loving it. They're running outside. He lets her know that he got laid off. And she
He wants to fuck about it.
Yeah, he wants to fuck about it. They're like really sloppily kissing in this scene, and I understand
It's gross.
It's gross, but I understand why and what it builds up to. It's like he says, I got laid off. She's mad at him, and he gets mad back, but it never gets to the point where you're concerned, because they sort of like have a bit of an argument, and it seems like she kind of it seems like it ends with him cowed a little bit, honestly. So you get like you get a sense that this is a very this is a healthy family. They're living at poverty. He just lost his job.
Yes.
That's not
But
great.
like,
but I mean,
and
like
throughout every now and then she'll get kind of a W against him. Where,
Yeah.
like they'll leave an argument and he'll feel shitty or like something like that. Yeah.
But you see, we start with them having a good day, and you're just saying, oh, okay, you think you have an idea of what the dynamic is, and then it stretches on into that night, or he comes home with his friends from the bar, and it's this party, and
it slowly gets more
gets
toxic.
bad,
like even the party, I'm like, all right, and they show the kids hearing it. I'm like, all right.
It's a bit
and then
much.
the party gets a little violent, and then
Yeah.
like it gets a little drunker, and you're like, I don't think a kid should be here.
People are like fucking on the couch. It's like, this is
Yeah.
And then Cliff Curtis comes in and asks for some eggs.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to make eggs because that's right, because APOC had come home and asked her for some money.
Right, and she
And she slaps him because he makes
Yeah.
some comment about, I forget what it was.
Yeah, and she's like, you're starting to see like the alcohol is like clearly affecting the kids.
Yeah.
And then he just starts beating the crap out of her.
Yeah, and
And
everybody
then it
runs
all-
out. All of their friends run out.
Yep.
Nobody
yeah, Oh, yeah, there's
intervenes.
a lot of this idea that
Nobody
the friends are all
intervenes.
cowards.
Yeah. We get that repeated a lot by Beth herself, by her friends. Her friend tells it to her a lot, and then Beth repeats it to Grace. And it's just like, oh, that's just what it is. It's just what it's like to be a woman. You know, oh, you
Yeah.
keep your mouth shut and your legs open. And then like Beth is passing that on to, and they're like laughing about it. And Beth's passing
Yeah.
that on to Grace. Like, oh, you'll understand one day. You know.
Yeah, she says you'll understand when you're older or something,
Yeah.
and it's like about something that's fucked up.
Yeah, that is
And you're
completely,
like, God, I hope she
completely
won't
wrong.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, and then it all kind of resets when he once again brings home money.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that cycle where it's like, I brought home something. And then he makes a promise of like, yeah, let's fucking go visit
Go visit Boogie.
Boogie. And it's like a series of those empty promises. And then it all kind of, they
he
go to
beat-
see Boogie.
He
and
beat
then-
the reason Boogie goes to gets taken out of the home and gets sent to a boys' home is because they were supposed to go to court the next morning, but
Yeah.
they got so hammered, and then he beats her so savagely. Like she is like disfigured for like the middle part of the movie. She does like it does not look like the actress. Like that's how badly he beats her in this opening scene. So like she can't go to court looking like that. She probably wouldn't be able to go to court anyway.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they lose Boogie because they couldn't be at court, and like he doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Like
there's this idea that
he
like
gets home
Beth
and he's
is
like,
kind
"Get
of
out
a
of my
fuck
face!
up.
Your face is making me sick. You're crying because Boogie got sent to a boys' home. It'll toughen him up. Is that all? Your guys are crying like he died. Get up and clean your face up." That's how he reacts to it.
He frequently doesn't care. She says something about the oldest where she's like, you should have seen him when he was a baby. He loved him. And then the moment he started crying, like he was out of it. Where it's that idea is like the moment a kid became slightly difficult, he was checked out as a dad. And from there on, he doesn't give a fuck, you know? Like that's the thing. Beth is like a fuck up, but he is like...
He's a monster.
He's a bad person.
He is a bad person. Beth is, Beth is fucking up, but he's... Like, they training day you. Like, you keep like waiting for these glimpses because they're presenting, they're putting you in the family dynamic, right? Like that's what makes the abusive relationships so trapping, so admiring, so painful. It's because of those good days, and you keep waiting for them to come back. Look, I know that person's in there, and they're going to come back out, and they keep having him do like these glimpses of nice things, like you're saying, but then he'll buy it back like 10 times worse.
Oh yeah, and there's this idea that like he's the one who's obviously bringing home most of the money, and it's like it's that idea of like it's easier to stay than to, in her mind, I mean, than to like break this up and to go through that process.
And she still loves him. She says that at one point.
Yeah.
But yes, she is obviously. There's the financial.
And then when
thing.
they have the family trip, they're singing. It's fun again. They go for a picnic, and then he's like, "I'm just gonna quickly stop at the bar for a beer."
He gets dark at the picnic because they start
he
talking about their marriage, and he gets all pissed.
And he needs a drink.
Yep.
And then they go, and then it all kind of happens. It keeps the cycle keeps happening, and then the Cliff Curtis thing happens with the daughter, who then like Cliff Curtis does this thing where he's like, "Give me a kiss before you go to bed," to the daughter, like, "Oh, I'm your Uncle Bully," and then he assaults her, and then he does it again the next day after the assault, and like she's like, "No." And basically, Boba Fett freaks out on her, and it's this idea of like something awful happened to her, and nobody's noticing.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, Beth would care, but Beth thinks it's something else, and like they do go, like she goes to walk out. She's fucked. She's like completely just traumatized and angry, and then she ends up hanging herself.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
He rips her journal in half, man. They have him do like every cruel thing that you've ever seen an evil dad do in a movie. Like he tears her story journal in half. He's like smacking her. He throws her in there. It's like, "You give Cliff Curtis a kiss right now." And like finally one of the other friends is like, "Bro, like maybe calm down."
Yeah, leave her alone, man. Like, yeah.
And he's like, "Fine, get the fuck out of my sight." And she literally gets up and walks out back and hangs herself, like right from there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like so brutal.
And Cliff Curtis, who is even worse than Boba Fett, has to sit there and go like, "Man, what happened?" Like he's playing it innocent.
He spends the whole day drinking with him the next day. Like,
it's
like he knows exactly why she hung herself.
And it's one of those things where this is the type of movie where I was like, I don't expect them ever to find out.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect them to ever find out what happened.
And even to a point at the end, sorry, just real quick, it gets to a point at the end where it felt like it had resolved itself, where they had like healed. And I was like, oh, they were like, when she's taping up the journal, it felt like they had healed and they were ready to like move on. So I thought it's sort of like the Lovely Bones, where like they never find out. Minor spoilers for the Lovely Bones. The parents don't ever find out what happens to her. We do, as the audience.
Yeah. But, no, they do. They have the funeral where they bring her back to the Maori village, and and fucking Boba Fett's at home just getting drunk, and he does the tree. And there's this implication that they're sort of separating, because they show the next day where Beth is there, and like Toots shows up, and she's just like, "You want to replace my daughter? We gotta
be our new
you come be
our new
the family
kid, Toot."
And and she like has a family. She makes dinner, and they have this nice moment while Boba Fett's out drinking. And I was sort of like, what happened? Like, I guess, did they separate? He kind of just like, it seems like they're leaving each other alone now. Where it's like this moment.
Yeah. I think he's just been drinking nonstop.
Yeah. And like he, again, doesn't know how to process this grief, because the grief is actually deep, deep guilt that he never seems capable of feeling.
No.
Like, it's all on him, and he doesn't even realize that he brought all this into his house. Yada,
like
yada.
you said, to the point where he goes outside and attacks the tree. He said it's a gut-wrenching scene. So please don't misunderstand me chuckling, but he says, like, you fucking bastard, to the tree.
All right.
As he's
then he whips out his
it's like the
wrist
tree that she hung
flamethrower.
herself from. Yeah. He takes out his fucking gauntlet flamethrower.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
And what you were saying, it's kind of like The Usual Suspects, where it's like it ends, and you're like, "That's okay. This is the ending." Not it doesn't, feel great, but it seems like she's healing. She's away from him, and then she tapes up the journal and reads it, and then brings it to the bar.
And we didn't know that she wrote in there. We never see Grace do this.
Yes.
So it's a great reveal in that it's chilling, but it's also like it's weirdly. You get like a little bit like a fuck yeah, because like fuck yeah, you want Cliff Curtis to get caught.
Yeah, the movie gives you the most dopamine you can get.
Right,
from a movie
but
like
it's
this.
mixed with like the reveal is so chilling because it's all in her face.
Yeah,
and you never see what it says. It's just all in the Beth's face. It's such a good performance and
right, and like,
so you
to
know
his
exactly
credit,
what it
Boba
says.
Fett. She goes to the bar and she tells him what happened. And at first, Boba Fett's like, "What the fuck? Don't accuse my friends of this." And she just hands him the journal. And like, to Boba Fett's credit, that's all it takes.
The son does. They get his elder.
the
They get
son
APOC
does,
in
you're
there.
right.
Remember, like he's so mad. She walks into the bar and is just screaming at Cliff Curtis and says it out there. You assaulted her. And Jake's like, the fuck? Like he's about to hit her. He goes to hit her, and APOC steps in and stops him. He blocks the fist, and then APOC.
The gang taught him.
Yeah.
How to be
and
good.
then APOC hands him the journal, and he says, "Here,
Yes.
you read it." So they
And
get
then,
to get the son in there.
without wordlessly, I believe he reads it, then turns to Cliff Curtis, and Cliff Curtis is like,
He takes
"Uh-oh."
way
And he
too
just
long to
starts-
start running, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
Like as soon as they hand him the journal, it's like you should be moving.
Yes, he should
You've
be
seen, like,
leaving the country.
We didn't mention
Boba Fett's
that.
gonna get you, man.
Right. We didn't mention that earlier, like in an earlier scene, the first time we see Jake go to the bar, he like kills the Kurgan. There's like a barbarian there that plays the jukebox and makes everybody angry, and he fucking annihilates this dude. So like
Yes.
it is known that Jake will beat anyone to death for no reason.
Yeah, the idea, the Ones Were Warriors, is that like Jake is built like a warrior.
Yes.
He's like a Fast and Furious character, but he doesn't have the sensibilities of one. Is kind of the idea. Is like the problem is all that anger.
Selfish.
Yeah, and it's this one time. It's like Godzilla, where it's like, oh, it's finally directed at something that it should be.
Yeah.
And it's Cliff Curtis, and he just annihilates Cliff Curtis. He doesn't kill him, but it seems close.
Well,
he seems to stab his genitals with
He
a bottle.
sure does.
He might not make it.
He's still alive when we see him, but
he's not
he-
doing great.
he's had his wang stabbed into hamburger.
And it's unfortunate that this movie, this is the W. This is like us going, yeah. But it is like Cliff Curtis, again, Cliff Curtis, to his credit, has built a tremendous scumbag out of this character.
You cannot hate a person more in a film.
He is
I don't
an
think.
amazing
He is an
scumbag.
You've never seen Cliff Curtis like this. I love Cliff Curtis.
This is a more early role, so this is another weird reason where it's
1994.
like,
It's very
oh,
early
this
role
is why
for Cliff Curtis.
Cliff Curtis is.
He did go on to play a lot of bad guys for the rest of like the 90s and early aughts.
Yes. Oh, Cliff Curtis. I didn't know he was married, because the other thing about Cliff Curtis, of course, is he's one of the handful of actors.
He's a Tony
that'll
Shalhoub.
just play, just any race. And we as a society have decided that's fine. Everybody's just like, sure.
He's Smiley. I keep mentioning Training Day. He's literally Smiley in Training Day. He's the guy that's going to blow Ethan Hawke's head off. He plays a Hispanic gangster. In
And everybody's
Day.
like, that's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
He's like
He's one of
Raymond
those
Cruz's
guys-
cousin. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Again, nobody cares, and it's fine,
It's
apparently.
fine.
We just accepted Cliff Curtis. Yeah, he can
Sure,
be anything.
I guess Cliff Curtis. He
fine.
plays the Arab terrorist in Collateral Damage.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine,
Anyway.
I guess.
But yeah, it's so like even to the point where like he beats him like Sonny Corleone, and it's amazing. But like one point,
And
like
then she tells him off
four
and
guys
leaves.
are grabbing him,
Yeah.
and they're starting to pull him off. And I said to my TV, "No, don't stop him yet."
Yeah,
and
let's
he
see what
does. He
keeps
pulls
happening.
free, and
Yeah,
that's
yes.
and that's when the weighing stab happens.
Yep. He's going to grab him, get on his jetpack, and fly him into the sun. It was hard.
Michael
I'm gonna say
Haneke would
for
be very
me,
disappointed in me. Yeah.
personally to watch Boba Fett in all of this because I know him as Boba Fett or Jango Fett. So he's really good in this. Don't get me wrong.
He's very good. Yeah.
But there was always, again, it's like Mickey Mouse. It's like watching Mickey Mouse do this. Where
I guess
I'm
it was. I got so used to, like I said, he was the only thing the thing I liked the most about Attack of the Clones, and I watched it a few times, and I did the Jango Fett video game, and
Yeah.
I'm a big Fett guy. I'm a fan of the Fett, so like, I was more keyed into him as Jango Fett, who I guess is more explicitly a villain.
Yeah.
So
Again,
but not like I guess sort of. Even then, he's not. Anyway, people are
it's
going to be
hard
arguing about
because
that.
it's like
Not a villain at this level.
I keep
but
using
anyway.
Mickey Mouse because it's like watching the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. It's like this.
Oh, right.
It's a villain, but it's like more
like
of
a fun
concept.
villain, yeah.
Yeah, a
like,
fun
oh, he's
villain.
cool. I
and
have
then
an
watching
action
him,
figure of this villain. I would not have an action figure of Jake Hickey.
Exactly. Where it's like, oh God, he's like bad.
Yeah, he's
in
like
this.
bad. Like it's like having an action figure of Travis Bickle.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we need him.
It's just funny because it's like, and a lot of iconic actors who've nailed a certain role have that problem. It was just that he was so Jango Fett and Boba Fett in my head.
Yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
20 years in the Star Wars Disney machine. It's tough to.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
this
think he
movie's-
transcends it, for me anyway. Like I didn't
he
have a
definitely
problem.
transcended it, but it was always a little bit like
Right.
as a joke in my mind.
Well, there's always a bit of
everybody-
always a bit of a reset when he walks into the scene because I'm immediately like, oh no, I don't.
yeah.
No, I don't like him.
It's always funny. Like we've been covering a lot of Australian, and this is New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
and like indie kind of films from the 90s where you see these directors or actors and you go like, oh, that's why they're big.
That guy.
Like it's that
yeah.
feeling.
This is why, right?
Right. Where
You see Muriel's
that
wedding.
now.
Oh,
Yeah. Because you watch like Anya Taylor-Joy and The Witch, and you know that someone 20 years from now is going to go back and watch that and go like, oh, that's where she came
that
from.
and
This fucked up
That
movie.
and Split landed at the same time,
Yes.
and she's
Yeah,
quite good
exactly.
in both, actually.
Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, that's why Robert Eggers did a Star Wars or whatever he's going to do.
Oh, man.
I'll give him a Star Wars.
Please give him a
folks.
Star Wars.
It'll be the worst Star Wars ever.
He'd put Tamura Morrison in it as a Fett, and he would behave like this.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, this made me go, oh, I wish I could see more of this version of him. I'm
sure those movies exist. It's just a lot of them may be like New Zealand films. Like I said, I was not able to watch
Smaller
this
films,
movie
yeah.
for a long time. But speaking of Star Wars, I noticed when I was like just looking through this film, like Rena Owen is also in Attack of the Clones. She's Tan Wee.
Oh, really?
The really tall cloning alien. Yeah, she does the voice of Tan Wee.
Wait, so she created Jango Fett?
Not Django. Django's the real guy. Boba Fett she created.
Oh, she created Boba Fett, who's a clone.
Yes.
Right. I always fucking forget that. There's so many Boba Fetts running around.
It's a lot of Boba Fetts, yeah.
Yeah. Like a ridiculous amount of Boba Fetts out there.
But yeah, I guess George Lucas was just like, I really liked this movie. I want you both in it.
Yeah.
George Lucas sounds a lot like Fox Mulder.
All right. I'm now learning that he technically, this is funny, because of Lucas, one of his first movies, chronologically now, is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, because Lucas went back and stuck his
and
fucking
stuck
voice,
his voice
in.
in. That's right. You don't
So,
need to
like,
do that to him. Come on, man.
What a weird thing, though. Imagine being
Jeremy
in
Bullock.
the 80s watching Star Wars and going like, ooh, maybe one day I'll be in a Star Wars, not knowing you'll be in that
You'll be in
Star
that Star Wars
Wars.
specifically.
Yeah.
And now they just, I mean, it's great. He's been dining out. Anytime they need a Boba Fett or a clone trooper, like he does the voices most of the time. Like in all the video
he's like-
games and stuff. He's like, no, please. I want to be the first one you call. Please. No, I like this paycheck.
He's one of those people, those actors that's probably like Bill Gates rich and we don't realize it. Like all the voice actors of The Simpsons where you don't think much of it and then you go like, oh, they're like some of the richest people. Like I can see this.
Sam Jackson's one of those. I guess people must
yeah.
realize it at this point, but if you sit down and like think about how many movies Sam Jackson's been in and how much money they've all made, you're like, fuck, Sam Jackson is like,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. And maybe maybe he didn't get a good deal for Jango Fett, but like at this point it's like he must be making some.
yeah, he got a TV show out of it. I mean, like, he's continued to do other stuff in the meantime. Like this must be
this role,
that must be a best case scenario for an actor, right? Just having like a regular voice work gig you can do, because that's like
Yeah.
that just pays the bills while you can do whatever you want.
right? But I guess what makes it so special, what I always love watching actors that I know in roles like this, because if I saw this at the time, he is so good and convincing that he feels dangerous, meaning that like you'd go like, wow, what maniac did they get for this role? And so like that idea of him in like these mainstream movies is like, right, they're just actors, aren't they?
Well,
they're all theater wimps,
Right.
Like,
Well, you know who he
but
made me
you just
think
go-
of? Like in this performance, and then like it just suddenly clicked, and then you just think he's like John Bernthal. He's
Yes.
very John Bernthal.
Yes, where it's like they are really good at that genuinely dangerous seeming roles, where it's like, don't get me wrong, this guy could kick my ass in real life, this actor is
Yeah.
certainly, but it's like you forget, like, yeah, they're actors.
He's an actor,
They're all-
yeah.
It's like when you hear about in the behind the scenes of The Thing that they were all doing theater exercises that John
Keith
Carpenter
David's
hated.
a Juilliard student.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's so funny.
Like
Because they really seem like just these tough
just
guys.
these,
to me.
just these shit kickers out in Alaska. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're all. It's like we were talking about, like very serious dramatic actors getting the call to go be a spaceman, and being
Yeah.
like, yeah, because they're all you're
what they do.
Yeah, like you're all just
Their job.
yeah, you're a theater kid. So like if you tell a theater kid you want to play a spaceman, absolutely I do.
Yeah. Spoilers for people. In like a month or so, we're going to be covering Kids. Kids is another one where like Kids feels like just such a grimy movie that seeing Rosario Dawson in it makes you go like, okay, all right. Like it's that feeling of like, right, it's a movie. It's a movie. Like
And
these people.
I forget his name. Tully makes it into The Wire.
Yeah. Wait, Tully?
The main. This is forgive the phrase, the virgin surgeon
In The Wire?
in Kids.
Oh, in Kids. Oh, that motherfucker.
Tully. I think it's Tully. Anyway,
That's what's interesting. This is
Leo
another thing.
Fitzpatrick. That's his name. He winds
Okay.
up in The Wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Wire is another one where I knew going into it that they literally did have actual cops and actual ex-criminals or current criminals in Baltimore play roles in that.
Yeah.
And like to the point that some of the cop actors recognized the criminal actors of like, I arrested you. And that was mixed with real actors. And it's all to say that when I first watched The Wire, I knew that. And to his credit, I assumed Idris Elba, who I hadn't seen before, was from Baltimore and was like one of those people. And then I learned he was some British guy. And I was like, holy shit. Like, he's so good in that, is my point.
Yeah.
It's like, goddamn. I want to watch The Wire now. This isn't about The Wire.
No, this is about Once
or
for
Kids.
Warriors. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, this is a very good movie. Really well made. Again, griminess and it does take a little bit out of you to watch. Like, I watched this movie and then I was like, I'm going to go take a walk.
Yeah.
Is what I did right after.
It really made me make some hard, firm promises to myself as a father.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, wow, man, oof. This is a tough film. Very, very good.
If you ever meet Cliff
Very,
Curtis,
very
you're like, stay away from me, Cliff.
No, we love Cliff Curtis.
It is that's the thing. Is in a way, it's kind of a PSA in the sense that it is a movie that people should watch as a kind of a moral tale, or as a in that sense. But it does have purpose as art, obviously, and as whatever you. It's hard to use the term entertainment, right, when talking about movies like this, where it's like, what does it mean to be entertained? And it means, I think, to be affected by art. And that doesn't mean it's positive or negative.
Right.
And it's like, there's certain movies like Kids, which we'll cover. I haven't watched that. I was also a kid.
I think entertained just kind of like literally means something closer to engaged.
Yeah, engaged is a good word. Like Kids, I remember being a film that, and we'll cover it, where I came out of it going like, I didn't need to watch that.
Yeah, I didn't
was
get
just
anything from Kids. Is just depressing.
Yeah, or it's not that, if people are wondering. Like, this movie isn't just pounding you relentlessly and making you feel like, what's the point?
Right, yeah. Kids is very much just a Shakespearean tragedy. Not literally Shakespearean, but
yeah,
it's just a tragedy.
Yeah. Yes. This has happiness in it, and it has purpose.
There's triumph in this, and there's growth in this, and I mean, the point of art is to empathize with other people, right? And
yes.
And you're talking about it's a weird word to say, to use engaged or entertained about a movie like this, but it's very affecting, very engaging, very just, boy, this was intense, but not always in a negative way. This is a very good movie.
Sure.
This is a very good
very
movie.
Very good. Amazing acting all around.
Very, very good.
Not one bad performance in this.
Yeah, even the kids are good.
Yeah, with Morrison, it was like that level of like, oh, he should have gone on to be making like Oscar-winning movies.
Yeah.
Like dramatic roles.
Yeah.
Like, again, I love that he's a Fett, but it was like that feeling of like, wait, this is the level of actor he is? I didn't realize that, you know?
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say.
I got nothing else, yeah.
Yeah, good movie, Boba Fett. Thank you, Burrito.
Thank you.
For giving us a reason to watch it.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally got to check this one off my list.
Yeah.
This is like a movie I've been meaning to watch for 2 decades.
Yeah, you got around to it. This was through our Patreon. If you're interested, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, our newish supernatural podcast, Himboos. We watch movies every Friday night. If you want to kick down a little more, there's a tier where you can get all those podcasts, and you get access to a special channel of our Discord where every Friday we watch 2 movies back to back, such as the Star Wars prequels, which frankly, Tom, we are due to rewatch.
We are overdue.
Yeah, we can throw this on and then episode 2.
Probably. We generally don't watch upsetting films or intense films of this nature. They're usually fun,
Not on
breezy
purpose.
films. Not on purpose. We've stumbled into 1 or 2, but
we've rolled some dice on films we've never watched before.
We're all grown-ups, but the point is to have fun on movie night.
Yes.
Anyways, so Star Wars prequels are probably going to happen soon, I guess.
This film, not so much.
This one, not so much. We won't be watching like The Deer Hunter or The Accused or anything.
No.
Probably not.
Deer Hunter.
The Deer Hunter.
We've done weird ones.
We watched Titanic once.
Yeah, we watched Titanic.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store, where we have all kinds of cool original artwork by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others. So check that out. Please rate and review our podcast wherever you're listening, and check out our other show, Badical, Badical, also wherever you are listening.
Yes. Do that. And check out Star Wars. It's available.
Have you heard about Star Wars?
Oh, check out The Mandalorian and Grogu out now. Our tie-in with this movie. He might be in that movie.
He could be. I don't know.
There's very real chance that he's in that
It's
movie.
a non-zero
so this is
chance that Tamara Morrison is in that film.
Synergy. Corporate
Yeah.
synergy. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.